Councilwoman Hughes.
Okay, my environmental commission and green team are really energized, active people, and they're involved in a lot of things. We had on the resolution tonight that we're applying for another ANJAC grant for garden maintenance because it's so out of control. We have all these beautiful gardens and there's way too many weeds in Highbridge. And also to get some signs for Mia Baldwin's Monarch campaign. She will be placing some signs around, and so Rick, you're going to be looking for them when you're mowing around someplace.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that you don't mow where those little signs are to preserve the milkweed that we're working on. Reminder that the river cleanup is April 13th, 9 to 11, and people can come and volunteer to walk along. There's very little pollution anymore, which is great, but still we want to check out the whole area. April 27th is electronics recycling from 8:30 to 12:30. And it's also go around your streets and pick up litter on your streets day. Roots for River planting workshop. Mike, you were able to attend. Michelle and I were not able to. Could you just say, the picture looked great that you sent.
The committee is starting to receive sponsorship money. Mazer Consulting, Roselle Bank, and Custom Alloy has gotten us well on our way. The Easter egg hunt is the first event on the schedule. It starts at 11 a.m. on April 6th, and the Easter Bunny is scheduled to arrive at 11:15. The summer concert series has a lot of bands lined up. June 1st is Chrome City and Colburn and Company. July 6th is CB Radio Independence Weekend Jamboree, which is CB Radio, and they have some guest performers. August 3rd is Ross Griswold and the Second Line, and Brittany Ramadiclia, I guess. August 31st is Tara Lane Band and Andy B and Soul Funk. And August 5th they have We Might Be Right, Billy Joel Tribute Band, and Blackbeard and the Northern Rebel. Friday Night Flicks, they reduced it to 2 movies this year. Lynn Hughes has a class project, I hear, and what they do is they pick the 2 movies. But the movies and the dates are going to be announced at a future time, so we don't have those specifics yet. We have a Community Day committee that's going to be scheduled for April 17th from 6 to 7, and we're picking 1 member from each committee. So we're still looking for those committee members to step forward to attend. The events committee has 2 members who are going to be representing that committee, but we're still looking for the rest of those committee members to step forward. But everything else is moving forward for the rest of those, soapbox derby and, paint out and all those are all moving along. So, events is moving right along as scheduled.
Emergency services.
I'm going to start with recreation, if that's okay.
Recreation.
If that's okay. I was just going to say that the summer rec program, the dates were actually in our consent agenda. It's the July 8th and 15th weeks, whatever, I forget the dates, but July 8th, 15th, those 2 weeks are the summer rec program, and the planning for that is underway or about to be underway. So summer is on its way, I guess. Due to scheduling conflicts, I was not able to be at the last recreation meeting because it was held the night of the council meeting, as it is happening again tonight. So I'm missing it again. I will say that the items on the Recreation Committee agenda continue to be right now, finishing up reviewing and reorganizing the Recreation Guidebook, manual, if you will, to represent some of the changes in recreation in our town over the years. They will be looking at, once again, playground equipment and thinking about ideas for replacement and change and things going on at the playground to upgrade that. And they are looking at the various events coming up this year. The participation in the Community Day, as well as hopefully a fishing event in in June, and then also the adventure race. So hopefully I'll be able to get to the next meeting and actually see what they're doing, because the schedule I think will begin to line up in April. Anyway, on to emergency services. Let's see here, police department I'll start with. Once again, I don't know how much people want to hear it, but car number 14-12 had the heat not working. That's all fixed now that it's warming up. There were low tire pressure and brake noise issues on car 14-15. That was the rear bearing. That's been fixed. And then the brake fluid was cleaned up as well. They've installed some new shelving and storage equipment in the armory. And the surveillance camera system at Solitude House, the idea of having one, I should say, is an idea. And we've begun getting quotes just to look at it and explore whether that is something we want to pay for and do to protect the Solitude House from vandalism and animals and such. There's a quote that's just been received for replacement upgrading of handguns for the officers. Every few years, you'll look at what you've got and decide whether certain ones need to be replaced, and so that's beginning now, an inspection of them. The procedure for getting the prescription drop-off box for prescription drugs is moving along, and we're waiting for we sent the letter for the DEA waiver off, and we're waiting for an answer. Let's see, programs for smoking, laws, dangers, regulations, vaping and such for the 7th graders is under review as something to be presented to the school. And then other programs, the CDS, possession and penalty, that's being looked at as a program for the school as well. They've assisted the school in lockdown drill and done safety training for the school staff as well. So community policing, the police work actually very closely with the school system. Also, they assisted in giving us some of the information on the dog park ordinance and some information on park hours. We had discussed those briefly last time, and we'll continue looking at those as we go forward. Let's see here. Recently, there were 2 adult arrests, 1 juvenile arrest, 71 motor vehicle stops, 8 motor vehicle crashes. This would be just in February. 2 thefts, and the total number of calls that they answered is 775 in the month of February. I'm not going to read off all this, but as you know, our chief has been involved, all of the officers, our department has been involved in helping Frenchtown. These are the lists of the trainings that the Frenchtown police officers received and completed over the course of basically February. As we were trying to get them up to speed. So it was quite a job that we did, and it's coming to an end at the end of March, but I think, once again, a whole lot of work got done to help out another town and kind of get them up on their feet when they're having some issues with staffing and catching up with their procedures and things.
Thanks, Steve. Councilwoman Berry, please.
Okay, this Monday, Cultural and Heritage will have, it's on the 25th at 7:30 p.m. at the High Bridge Rescue Squad. They will have a well-known historian, John Cool, who provide the biography and profile of General William Taylor, High Bridge's Civil War general. So that'll be, I think, refreshments as well, right, Nancy, served as well. And the committee has also been preparing the house and cleaning up and getting ready for their first open house on May 12th on Mother's Day. And also for April 7th, the Environmental Commission will be hosting a Solitude Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. And that will have various presenters and speakers at that event. And also there are 4 open seats on the committee, so if anyone is interested, please contact me, and I'll make sure that your email gets to Nancy so she can invite you to one of our meetings, which is always the 4th Wednesday of every month. And that is all right now for Cultural and Heritage. And then for the Board of Education, right now they are prepared a tentative budget to submit to the Superintendent of Schools in Putnam County, and hopefully next month I'll have more detail on that for everyone.
Excellent. Councilman Columbus Gulf, EDC.
Sure. Start with the EDC. New member just joined, Todd Honeycutt. I'd like to thank him for joining. He was added as a new member at the last meeting. EDC is still looking for a few more members. One is a regular and 2 alternates. So if anyone is interested in joining, contact myself, Pablo Delgado, Michelle Lee. We could use a few more people. EDC's met is still focusing on extending train services to the borough on weekends, putting Highbridge on the map, trying to get some signage, looking into signage for 78 and 31. Working on grant research for state and county grants. Partnering up with Events, Rec, and HPBA, so to maximize the visibility of our town. The SBA spring seminar has been postponed until fall. We don't have a date yet, but yeah, just heard that. So
What
that would
happened?
be, I think it was not agreed on a date yet.
Location,
The
we gotta
location.
confirm in time about the first day squad, and I think Joe wanted to have enough time to promote. So I don't know if we ever got confirmation that it was open for the 23rd of April, but we felt it was getting too close, so we want to move it when we have more time to promote it.
Yeah, not enough promotion time in the
Okay.
location, so. That's it for EDC. Golf, I was not at the last meeting, so at the month end of, so January rounds. They were up 109 from the budget. 469 rounds for January, budget 360. February, rounds were up 77 rounds, 437. The budget was 360. Believe it or not, people do play golf in the cold weather.
A lot out there today.
Were there?
Yeah. February was, historically, it's the toughest winter month, so it's good to grab some positive results. March is trending well. You guys have all seen this nice weather we've been having, so March is already looking like they're clear for March as far as hitting their goals and beyond. Was out at the course. They finished the repair on hole 3.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they put the sod or whatever it is that goes on top now. The drainage was in.
Yeah.
I saw it working.
Oh, good.
So that's good. It had just rained the day prior, so it was up there. They just need, things just need to grow out. Everything's looking good up there. There was some storm damage to hole 11, not hole 11, but the path collapsed on hole 11 partial area. So while the guys were out there doing patchwork, they went in, they put a drain underneath, they put some temporary stuff over to the path. But part of the goals for the course is to repair some of these areas. It's a good thing they didn't repair it yet because it would have collapsed anyways. And, that's been fixed, just needs to be paved over a little bit. Residents Appreciation Day is going to be May 3rd. Planning's in progress, on the calendars. Highbridge Hills was also rated most improved golf course by Billy Casper as one of their management, one of the courses they managed. That was voted as the most improved course for 2018. Side note. The 20th anniversary of the golf course lands on June 26th. I spoke about it already. $20 rounds for the 20th anniversary on June 26th. So come on out and play some golf on May 3rd. Don't forget, and June 26th. And that's what I have for EDC and golf.
Excellent. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Mr. Pappas.
Just a few things that haven't been covered here. We've continued to have groundwater issues in different parts of town. DPW responds, investigates, and in some cases monitors determination as to whether it's just because of the huge amount of rain or another issue. So that continues to come up less frequently, but still does come up. Within the last couple of weeks, there were numerous complaints about recycling pickup. We're not exactly sure what occurred. We did respond, contact Premier. They did dispatch a truck and seemed to rectify it. Hopefully it won't continue. And the last thing that I have is we received a couple of letters from landlords who missed the registration deadline. And recall that this has been an issue for some of them for the last few years. There's fewer and fewer landlords that are missing the deadline. But there are still some that do, and we did get a couple of letters asking for some consideration, and I haven't responded. My assumption is, and just wanted to run it by you folks, is that the amendment was made last year. People had until postmarking their registration until the end of January, and My assumption is that there's not any interest in, nor would I recommend that there would be any change to this. It's, the late fees were not created to punish anyone, just to help borough staff that have had to chase people down throughout the year for relatively a small amount. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess the big news for me for the month is the Town of Clinton sewer matter is halfway home. We did get the term sheet signed off by Highbridge and the Town of Clinton. CTSA did not sign on, so as of now, we're kind of moving forward without them. I think it's kind of a mistake on their part, but we're moving forward. So as Bonnie mentioned, we got a portion of the escrow returned to us that we're going to reduce fees a little bit, but we also want to take some of this money and get our surplus back, or started to get back. The next steps now are we're going to be preparing the service agreements, which kind of lays down the terms of how things are going to move forward over the next 10 years at the treatment facility. And it's a 10-year contract, 5-year renewable time periods after that. You know, hopefully we have other solutions by the time that 10 years is up, but we'll see. So once the service agreement is in place, we have a deadline set for May 1st on that. We'll get the other 50% of our escrow back. So good news. I'm hoping it's smooth sailing from here, but preparing for it not to be. We also, I introduced my first budget as mayor, which I had fun working with Leanne and Lynn and Bonnie and Mike and everybody. Fun working on it. Got some good road improvement projects happening. What I'm most really excited about, though, are the park improvements that we're looking to do. We're going to be working with some of the the youth sports teams to kind of lay down a plan of how we can repair some of these fields going forward. And some new playground equipment. It's not a lot, but kids want it. You know, we'll get some new stuff laid down on the ground and a nice new play set for everybody. And I think with a nice new road going past that park, you know, maybe we'll do roller skating or something. Coffee with the mayor. I had another coffee with the mayor last weekend. There was a lot of people there. I'd say a dozen or so people. Chris was kind enough to join me again. I think the main topic of discussion continues to be roads. Roads. Yeah, more than really anything else, the roads. So I'm glad that we're going to have some pretty big projects get done this year. And then I had just 2 new experiences for me personally, as the Hunterdon County Meals for Wheels organized a whole thing this week for the mayors to go out and deliver Meals on Wheels. And I'm surprised there was actually a half a dozen or so families right here in Highbridge that literally are waiting at their door for these meals to be delivered. And it was both moving and a little sad, but you know, I was glad to be a part of that program. And also I was invited to the Highbridge Post, American Legion Post. Not only is it the 100th year for the American Legion as a whole, but also the 100th year for the Highbridge Post. So that was kind of exciting, and they're going to do a little celebration Memorial Day this year. So.